I'm low-key faded, bro.
Highway?
Cowboys blood.
What's this guy supposed to be, the ultimate badass?
Hey, what's up, everybody? Today we're going to go over my final mock draft of the 2025 NFL Draft for the Dallas Cowboys. 7-round mock. We'll cover the first rounds here pretty in depth. The 6th, 7th rounders, these are always your dart throws. So I'll go over the prospects, but we'll just run through those because it could be any pick there. You know what I mean? So let's get into it. This is serious. Boom. All right. This is coming late in the afternoon. Still going through some of the people that I've been getting a lot of updates from, people that I trust very much indeed in this process. Doing this since 2003, I've cultivated a lot of relationships nationwide, and with that, you get the latest and greatest, the realest of the real, you know. And sometimes it's not always with what the majority is doing. So, and that's what this mock draft is, you know. You will be surprised by some of these picks, but there is logic with it. All right, so let's get into it. Final mock draft of the season, 7-round mock. Let's go to it. First round pick.
Round 1.
Will Campbell, all right. Everybody is stuck on Ted McMillan. It's not going to be wide receiver, all right. He will either be gone there, or he'll be there and they'll pass on him, or somebody will want to trade for him and they'll trade down, but they're not taking wide receiver. You got to look at the analytical part of this and the historical data. The historical data and the analytical data says that the Cowboys draft wide receivers in the first round on average every 10 years. CeeDee Lamb, Dez Bryant, and before that, you go back even further. All right, so what the Cowboys do to address their wide receiver woes, usually, they take that wide receiver in the first round every 10 years. In between that 10 years, they'll make a trade, and they've done it consistently. You know, Joey Galloway, Roy Williams, Amari Cooper, right? So somewhere between CeeDee Lamb's 2025 season and 2030, so within 5 years, the Cowboys will probably make some sort of in-season trade for a wide receiver and give up picks. They do it. That's the MO of the team. That's what they do. But they're not taking a wide receiver in this draft. You know, as much as some people are trying to will it, that's not what's going to happen here. And in fact, the plan here, what I've been told from other people that are really in the know, is they are coveting the trenches. They ended the season with everybody talking about it. Everybody talking about how the Super Bowl looked, how would the Cowboys need it, trenches, and that's what the Cowboys are looking at here. They want Will Campbell to be there, LSU offensive lineman, and plug him in there at right guard. They are also very high on Kelvin Banks, the Texas lineman. So look for that first pick to be O lineman. For this mock draft, we're going with Will Campbell, offensive lineman, LSU. Okay. Let's go to the second round.
Round 2.
In the second round, Cowboys are going to go trenches again. This time we're going edge rusher. The best available on the board here was Princely Umanmielen. All right. The defensive end out of
Ole Miss.
He has a good set of tools, and he still has a ways to go. And you put him in here with Eberflus, who is able to elevate a lot of players where he's been at. That's one good thing about Eberflus. He's able to get, you know, some juice out of these players. And I think this pass rush needs a little bit of that juice, and you get that with Princely here, all right? This is a guy who you put him in here. This draft would be reminiscent of 2014 when you get your O lineman in the first, go in the second round, and you go and get your D lineman. And that's going to be the case here. Princely. Now, if the Cowboys, the dark horse is going to be James Pierce in the first round. I've heard that the Cowboys are very high on him. If they in fact go 12 or trade down and take Pierce, that second round pick will be O-lineman. But in this mock draft, we went Will Campbell. He was available. And we're taking Princely here in the second round to give that pass rush some juice and some burst. Right, let's go to the third round.
Round 3.
The third round is DJ Giddens. All right, the forgotten man, and I don't know why, man. Well, the reason is everybody gets stuck on the certain names, right? Quinshon Judkins, Harvey, and some of these other dudes. This just makes too much sense, man. Okay, so you have our offensive line coach here coaching the Cowboys, and you have a really good quality running back here in DJ Giddens. This guy runs really well. He can take it all the way to the house. He's got good balance. Contact balance is outstanding as well, and he's a receiver out of the backfield. So DJ Giddens, if he's available here in the third round, that will be the pick. That'll be the third round running back. I'm going with DJ Giddens. All right, let's go to the next one. Cowboys, I think they're going to do what they did last year. They're going to say in a pre-conference or post-conference, they're going to say, we consider Mingo our fourth round pick, so we just sat there. So they're going to sit through it and let this bleed out into the fifth round. And in the fifth round, the Cowboys take
Round 5.
Jamari Caldwell, the defensive tackle out of Oregon, the behemoth. All right, Cowboys got to come out of this with some beef. This is a triple cheeseburger type of defensive tackle, one tech player all the way, and he'll stuff it up, man. You know what I mean? You put him there with Osa, and hopefully, you bring in some more people here, whether it's a free agent after the draft or, just your rotation. You got to get better there. Depth, somebody who could possibly beat out even Mozzie Smith, but Jamari Caldwell, Oregon, is going to be the pick there in the fifth round. All right, let's go to the next one.
Round 5.
Mello Dotson, the cornerback out of Kansas. All right, Mello Dotson, perfect guy to put into the mix. Has a great knack for the ball. A really, really great knack for the ball. I mean, you can consider him a ball hawk. He's always in the right place at the right time. And he's always actively trying to jar out that football. You know what I mean? He's not just going to make a tackle or push you out of bounds or this or that. He's trying to get turnovers, okay? That's what I want out of my defenders, especially the secondary. I want that ball to be turned over. So Mello Dotson, this is a perfect type of Cowboys pick. You know what I mean? I think if you're looking to get a replacement for Jordan Lewis or somebody that can give you flexibility, he can play on the outside, he can play on the inside. You know what I mean? So Mello Dotson for me is a no-brainer. If he's available here in the fifth round, I kind of question if he'll be there. I can almost see him going in the fourth round, but in this mock, he was available and he was the pick. All right. Now going through the sixth round.
Round
like
6.
I said, we'll go through these here. Joe Huber, he's an offensive guard out of Wisconsin. Have him here in the sixth round. He could easily go in the fifth round. You know what I mean? Just Wisconsin in the Big Ten. Cowboys like drafting out of the Big Ten. So expect that to be the case here as well. So Joe Huber, offensive guard, he gives you some flex there playing on the left side and, can give you some depth behind Tyler Smith, and someone that's going to be better than Tyler Bass or Hoffman. So I like, keep it going, keep these O-linemen coming through here. It doesn't hurt to double dip in some of these areas, okay? And now with the second sixth round pick here, we're
Round
going
6.
safety, Hunter Waller. Also, coincidentally, out of Wisconsin. I like this player a lot. Solid tackler. You know what I mean? You need depth there at safety. I think it wouldn't be surprised to me if the Cowboys took a safety, in the fifth round. I broke this down here a couple years ago, and it still holds true. Cowboys like to roll the dice and take safeties on day 3. the 5th round is usually that spot. But in this mock draft, we waited till the 6th round, and we added a safety here with Hunter Waller out of Wisconsin. Solid player. I think he'll make the team. All right. And then we move to the 7th round, where we have 3 7th-round picks.
Round 7.
I went with Elijah Badger, the wide receiver out of Florida. Really good hands. He doesn't drop many passes at all. He went all of 2024 without dropping a pass. Impressive. All right. So, like I said, add more receivers here. The Cowboys, you know what I mean? As we look at this draft, this happens to us all the time, where we're concentrating or fixating on what are our top draft needs, and we got to get a number 2 for Lamb and this and that. But the Cowboys, when they get stubborn, they don't move, man. They dig in and they throw their nose up at the fans. You know what I mean? They don't care what the fans think. So they're going to probably take a wide receiver, but way later than what we want. And I think that's what they're going to do in this draft. I honestly do. You hear what they say about Jalen Tolbert. You hear what Dak says about Jalen Tolbert. What they think, what Mingo could be. They think that they're okay there, but they're going to have to learn the hard way, like they do every year. The running back by committee crap didn't work well for the Cowboys last year. That's why this year they're going to take that running back, hopefully, by round 3. If they push it out further, well, they didn't learn. You know what I mean? And it's just amazing that this team continues to do this for 30 years now. All right. Let's go to the next 7th-round pick is another wide receiver.
Round 7.
Andrew Armstrong out of Arkansas. Has good size, speed, and just another guy that you can throw into the mix here. Just somebody that you want some of these guys to bump off, like a Jalen Brooks, push Flournoy, push Jalen Tolbert. Maybe you get you a diamond in the rough somewhere along the way here, right? And then to close out the draft, our final 7th-round pick,
Round
with
7.
Seth Hennigan, the quarterback out of Memphis. Why not? You know what I mean? Oh, we just traded for Joe Milton, little twats. I can hear them now. You need somebody to push him as well. I don't want this to be where it's a 2-man system here, where it's Dak, Joe Milton. Joe Milton's going to play. All right, we know that. We know Dak is going to get hurt. All right. You need somebody behind Joe Milton to even push him. And it's not going to be Will Greer. All right. You need to just throw another pick here. I think Seth Hennigan brings in a really good arm. He has a nice touch on the ball, the deep pass, and he's got a good game, man. Will he be here at the 7th? He could be. Somebody might like him enough to take him a little bit earlier. He may even be available undrafted. But I want him in the mix. I want another quarterback at the end of this draft. One of these 7th-rounders. You gotta have that fire behind your starter and your backup. You can't have it like you are you're crowned, all right, with the anointing oil and all this crap. But guys, that's the final mock draft. Like I said, trenches. The Cowboys are going to go trenches here. You know what I mean? Like I said, Will Campbell, if he's there, will be the pick. Keep an eye on Kelvin Banks as well, the other offensive lineman. And if not, the dark horse, James Pierce, the defensive end out of Tennessee. I think ideally what they would like to do is get your O-lineman here in the 1st and see if Pierce falls to you in the 2nd round. That's your classic roll the dice player, because he's got some off-field issues, right? And the Cowboys love doing that in the 2nd round. So if Pierce can go here in the 2nd round, he'll be the pick. But he was not available here. Somebody nabbed him at the end of the 1st round. That's why I went Princely for your defensive end pass rusher, your designated pass rusher. All right, as the Cowboys like to call it. But that's all we have today, guys. We will continue to have more draft coverage and other news and rumors as they hit. We'll hit that here tomorrow on the Frisco Report. So make sure you tune in tomorrow for that, for the very latest. All right, see you for the next one, guys. Peace.
Yeah, old school, baby.